In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to spot a scammer on Facebook when it comes to GLP-1 medication. Hey everybody, it's Allie. I'm on a fantastical weight loss journey and hopefully you'll come along for the ride. So, one of my huge pet peeves about Facebook in general is the number of scammers that are just stealing people's money on a regular basis. I fight this all the time in my dog-related Facebook group, and it's something that pains me in my heart. So I wanted to make this video and just show you a couple of things that you can look for so that you make sure that you don't get scammed. First things first, you need to be getting your medication from a doctor. End of story. It does not matter if it's your PCP or if you're going through a telehealth company. You want to make sure that you are getting your medication from a doctor, not a random Facebook group, not a random person on Facebook, not a Facebook page, or somebody who says that they're going to send you a private message on Facebook. No. I don't care if they claim to be a doctor. I don't care if they claim to be a pharmacist, which is the one that I've seen a lot of lately. It does not matter. You need to be going through a responsible telehealth company, and if you need some options, go check out my compounding video. Or you need to be going through your doctor, either your PCP or your endocrinologist or an obesity specialist, whomever you choose, someone that you're seeing in person. Me personally, and this part is just my personal opinion, I do not recommend med spas. I understand that they have a physician on staff who's the one who's writing the prescription, but there's not a whole lot of information that I'm finding that is provided to people about where those compounds are coming from. And I cannot tell you how many times I have seen people post and they're like, hey, I've been on this, compound from my med spa for 3 months or 4 months or 6 months, and I haven't lost any weight, and the price keeps going up, and I'm not losing any weight, and they're telling me it's my fault. If I had $1 for every time I saw one of those posts, I wouldn't need to make YouTube videos because I'd be retired. So for me personally, I do not recommend med spas. If you're gonna go with a med spa, you need to do your research. And if you need more information about what specific questions to ask, go check out my compounding video because the questions will be the same. But you're going to have to do your due diligence because some of these med spas are either using peptide salts, which are not the same thing, or they're using diluted versions of Tirzepatide, Semaglutide, or they're just injecting you with B12 and sending you on your way, and then you wonder why it's not working. Whatever it is, there's too much room for error. I saw one person post just this week about how at their med spa, they pre-fill the syringe. They don't do it in front of the person. And apparently the technician who pre-filled didn't get the dosing correct. And so they gave them a much higher dose than they were supposed to get. And she ended up in the ER. So med spas, there's too many rooms for error for me. I don't recommend. I'm going to scoot over here because I'm going to put some stuff up on the side here. If you're in a Facebook group or you're making a post and somebody says they're going to send you a private message, please be very, very careful. There are people who will post and say certain phrases that you need to be aware of. They'll claim that their refrigerator went out and they need to get rid of their medication. They'll claim that they've got too many boxes and they're coming off of it and they want to try to recoup some money. They'll claim that they have extra boxes. Again, back to the pharmacist, they'll claim they're a pharmacist and that they have access to the meds. Or my latest favorite, that they're related to somebody who's an Eli Lilly rep, and so that they can get the medication directly and you don't have to go through a doctor. All of these situations are scams. You need to be very, very careful. First of all, selling medications on Facebook is illegal. I mean, it's illegal even off of Facebook, but do not buy your medications off of Facebook. Doesn't matter who it's coming from, don't do it. The other thing you need to watch out for is people with first and last names that are first names. This is a very common tactic that scammers use when they are creating new Facebook accounts, because surnames that are used in various countries are very different than they are in America. In some countries, the surname comes first. In some countries, they don't put a surname. In some countries, it's, there's a big long name and then the last name, right? So if you see something and somebody is messaging you and they have two first names, you should automatically assume that it's a scammer. And if you are someone who does not have your last name on Facebook and you're using like your first name and your middle name, you need to understand that anyone, whether it's a small business or another person, maybe you're in a buy-sell trade group, you need to understand that people are going to think you're a scammer, because that's what scammers do, and you may want to consider changing your name. I have run into a few people that I didn't allow into my dog group because of this, and they got mad at me and they were like, no, I'm not putting my last name on Facebook. I just used my first name and middle name. And I said, hey, I'm so sorry, just so you know, that makes you look like a scammer and I'm not letting you in. I don't care how nice you are. I'm not going to put my group members at risk for that. So I understand that there is a very, very small number of people who do it who are not scammers. But in my opinion, all of your information is online. You can go to the local library and look up and find anybody. So you not putting your last name on Facebook doesn't save you from anything. The other thing that you need to keep in mind is that not all Facebook groups are created equal. So scammers have gotten smart, and what they do is they team up and they go around, and I'm sure you've seen them comment on various posts where they advertise their Facebook group, or they'll send you a private message and say, hey, come join the Facebook group. So then they've got an entire group based off of scammers trying to rip people off. And some of those groups have a very, very large number of people in them who are 100% clueless that that group is being run by a scammer. They think that they're just in a normal support group because they create the group, it's got, an innocuous name, and they allow support posts in the group. And then any opportunity they can take to scam somebody, they will. And the group provides them a safe place. If you find one of those groups, and I know that there are a few on Facebook currently, you need to report the group, you need to report the person. Anytime that happens, you need to report the account and then block them. That's the only way the Facebook is going to eliminate that account. Now, that doesn't stop the scammers, they just create a new account, but at least it slows them down for a minute, and you may potentially save somebody else from being scammed by that person. So the other thing you want to keep in mind is if you see a Facebook post and it's asking a question or making some kind of vague statement and the comments are closed, that's because, or they may tell you, private message me, that's because they don't want to get caught as being a scammer. So if you see that, do not respond. report the post. You can click the little like 3 dots up in the corner, report it to admin. If you're unfortunately in one of those scammer groups, then they're not going to do anything about it. But if somebody's asking a question and they ask you to send them private messages, we are able to post anonymously in Facebook groups now. It gives you a level of anonymity.
In what kind of home? Okay, don't hurt yourself. Welcome aboard!
Enemy. In case you're asking something that you're embarrassed about, or that you just don't want your name attached to it. So there's literally no reason for somebody to ask a question, tell you to private message them, and then close the comments on their post so that people who recognize that it's a scammer, right, they can't out them. The other thing that you need to keep in mind is that Semaglutide and Tirzepatide compounds, or even just the name brand, Mounjaro, Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, those are all expensive medications. If you are in a conversation with someone and they're offering you those medications for cheaper than you can get them from a telehealth company or directly from the pharmacy, that should be a huge red flag to you. First of all, you shouldn't be having that conversation anyway. Like I said, illegal. But secondly, it should be a huge red flag to you. So if you, for example, are researching a med spa and it's like, oh, you can get a 3-month supply for $200, that is a huge red flag. You're either not getting the actual medication, because a company is not going to take a hit so that you can get a deal. The whole point is for them to make money. So you're either not getting the real medication, or you are getting the real medication, but they're watering it down so that they can make more money and keep people coming back. Either way, if you're getting some kind of fantastical deal that seems too good to be true, that's because it is. So please be careful out there. Do not get scammed. Kevin doesn't want you to be scammed either. I hope you found this video helpful. If you see others on Facebook that look like they're getting scammed, do not be afraid to say something. I cannot tell you how many times I have commented on people's posts or comments and said, hey, you need to be careful. This type of question can easily bring the scammers out, right? People post because of the shortage all the time. They're like, oh, hey, is anybody able to find medication in this area? You've just made it so easy for a scammer to message you and say, hey, oh my gosh, I'm only a few hours away. I could just mail it to you. Give me all your money, right? Like, don't set yourself up to get scammed, please. Please be careful out there. When in doubt, have somebody else check the messages. Have somebody else look at it with you. Do not make an impulsive decision. Do not send money over Facebook or any of that, because you're not going to be able to get that money back. And Facebook is not going to help you. And these apps that they're using, like Cash App, Venmo, even PayPal, are not going to help you, especially if you send it like friends and family. So you're just going to be out that money. You are better off holding on to your money, going through a responsible telehealth company, or going through an actual pharmacy in person. So be careful out there. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, consider subscribing. I'd love to have you. If you're looking for a safe, positive-only support group, check out the description box below. I've got it linked down below. And as always, be kind, rewind.